testimony time. I have Damon with the Seat for Jesus. He's a super sweet guy and just very gentle. And I just really wanted to hear his story because not many people have that very leveled. You just seem to have such a level personality, and I really like that. You don't get all like
Oh,
that's good. So. So yeah, so I'd kind of like to know your testimony, how you came to know the Lord, and how you came to find out about the little season.
okay. Yeah, thanks for inviting me to do this. I actually never really was a guest on anybody's channel before, so this is kind of a first time too.
Yeah.
And we've been going into some of my background and story, so this will be interesting, I guess, for me too.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I appreciate it, and it was really nice to meet you the other week when we did
Yeah,
that round table with
that
everyone.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just kind of give a brief background, I guess, on how I came to faith in Jesus. Basically, pretty easy. I was raised in a Christian home. My parents got saved when I was around 3, and so pretty much as long as I can remember, we were going to church. Pretty much a traditional Christian family. Um, yeah, nothing crazy really, but just taught the traditional Bible stories. And, when it comes to eschatology and all that, pretty much the typical thing there as well. So, um, pre trib type rapture eschatology, um, that whole thing. That was pretty much, although, I mean, I don't recall like being taught a lot on it, but that was like just what I always knew.
Hmm.
And I, I really was the kind of person where in general, I was the kind of person that, when I knew something, then there was no changing it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but in general, I always knew, like, logically, you can't really do that. That's dangerous. So you
Yeah.
have to at least give yourself some room. Like, what if this? Then does this make sense in this case, and things like that. So eventually, that's how I expanded. But we'll get to that later, I guess. But yeah, that's just like the foundation of my upbringing. Just kind of taught the traditional things.
Was it a denominational or non-denominational church?
Non-denominational mostly. I went to an Assemblies of God a little bit later in life, but growing up, it was mostly just charismatic, non-denominational, Pentecostal, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah. 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 That's
Mm.
my background pretty much too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So how did you finally come to the little season?
Well, depends on how long of a story you
Oh
want.
no, go ahead. As long as you need. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
What kind of
So, I
miracle did
mean,
you see?
um, really, so first of all, I first discovered it maybe it was last January, so a little over a year ago.
Okay.
But go back a couple of years, maybe a total of 3 years ago. Um, having been brought up in traditional pre-trib eschatology, um, that was what I knew. That's what I believed. But there's still like so much in eschatology that's confusing. There's so many of these little bits of information, and none of it really seems to work well together. And everybody has like a different interpretation with things, and it was just everyone is confused on it. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And when you have 4 or 5 different versions of it going around, it just makes it even harder.
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah, so I came to a point where I just wanted to get a clear picture for myself. So I wanted to go do a deep dive and really just research it and just get like a good clear picture of what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
you know, what am I gonna stick with and what am I gonna believe? And so I did that. I just did some research, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and you know I came across some things one particular guy. I watched a lot of his videos. I subscribed to like his premium members area, got all the information I could. Um, but in the end, I realized now, and I did that for like 2 years, um, listening to this one particular guy. Basically, in the end, I came to the conclusion that what I am sticking with was exactly what I had been believing all along. That, in other words, I got nowhere. Um, I basically
Oh.
I basically just ended up with, yep, I'm just gonna, even though there were still questions and gaps, and there was just still like things that didn't make sense. The way people explain things sometimes is it's just that this way.
Hmm.
This is what this means. Like people tell you this is what this means, and you just believe it.
Hmm.
Um, in some cases, you know, what if they're wrong? And so I think that was the case in this case. So I ended up back to square one. I definitely learned a lot of things. Some things were clearer, at least on the position. But I basically, in the end, was back to there's soon going to be a 7 year tribulation, and there's going to be this man of perdition who rises up, and he will seem great at first and he'll bring peace to the world, but then halfway through he turns on everyone and he, it's basically the antichrist, and he kills like so many people, and then at the end of it there's Armageddon, and there's destruction and chaos, and you know half the world is destroyed, and then Jesus returns. Now,
You didn't believe in
the
a rapture, though, on top of that?
well,
Oh,
well, that's that.
okay. Sorry.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so yeah, it was the rapture was supposed to take out the Christians beforehand.
Mm,
So the mindset that people had was that it's okay that all these things are going to happen
mm,
because it'll happen to these people, but not to me.
mm.
And it's really a twisted concept
Yeah.
to almost anticipate or wish, and you cannot wait for this to happen so that you can get out of here.
Mhm.
But how many billions of people are going to die?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's really a twisted concept. And so, anyway, and then, yeah, Jesus returns and the millennial reign starts. So I was back to that, and I was just content. And honestly, I would teach people, not a lot of people, but like friends. Like we would have like small little Bible studies and stuff. And uh, I would even, I got really into, because the rapture was going to happen any day, and and this was the fulfillment of the fifth um, Jewish feast. There's the
Okay.
seven Jewish feasts, and they've been fulfilled, except the next one, supposedly in this idea here,
Mhm.
is the rapture, which is for Rosh Hashanah.
Is
So
that that's not trumpets, right? Is that the trumpet one?
the Feast of Trumpets, yeah,
Is Rosh Hashanah the same thing? Or
yeah,
different?
yeah,
Okay, okay.
it's
Because
the
that's
same
what I
thing.
was waiting for too, yeah.
Yeah. And so I actually had not I had some people over. We observed Rosh Hashanah, just in our own way, like not super super traditional, but we would have like a meal with some uh, traditional foods, maybe like 20 people at a time, and we, one year, and then maybe about 20 the next year. 2 years in a row we did this. Um, and I actually would present this case for any day, the rapture, and stuff like this. And um, yeah, so I don't do that anymore, but it was, I was into it. I was really
Yeah.
um, like this is any day now, kind of thing. I mean, when I say any day now, like I believed it was going to be probably around 2025,
Mhm.
and I calculated that, and I put it on my calendar years in advance, the fall of 2025,
Mhm.
because of certain things related to 2030 and all this stuff. Anyway,
Mhm.
so I don't know. I was really into it, and I was content. I didn't really pay much attention. I didn't ask too many questions. That's kind of, in my opinion, a dangerous thing when you just take something and you don't ask a lot of questions, even though you know that something doesn't add up. Um, I don't know. I like to ask questions in general,
Mhm.
and so I really wasn't asking too many questions.
Because you
So
believed it, because your mom and dad believed it, your pastor believed it, so it was just there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So if you do, if you just surround yourself with people who believe the same thing you do, or you watch the videos of the people who believe what you do, and you're just never going to know if you're ever wrong.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
so it's good to expand your horizons a little bit.
Mhm.
So, somewhere in here, basically, um, I started hearing this one guy talking. Um, he he used to be a pastor down here near Atlanta, which is where I am. Um, he's not around here anymore, but he's online, like he's on YouTube a little bit, but he's not super famous or anything. But he's a minister, pastor type person. I don't think he pastors a church at the moment, but um, he operates a little bit in the prophetic as well, just a little. But he's a really normal, down to earth, good Bible teacher, and he started just talking about how the rapture is not in our future. And it
Mhm.
was like a foreign concept to me. I never believed there was never going to be a rapture. I
Mm.
never, there may have been questions about when the rapture
When?
was going to happen,
Yeah.
but not if it was going to happen at all. That was never really a question.
Mhm.
So, a lot of people, when you say something like that, they're very like turned off and defensive.
Mhm.
I wasn't like that
Mm.
though. I was intrigued. First of all, I knew this guy, not personally, but like after seeing him and watching him for years, I knew the kind of person he was, and I knew he wasn't crazy.
Mhm.
And when he said something like this, I'm like, okay. And I know that he was about to explain and give proof, so I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
And so he just talked, just his position on the rapture not being number one in our future. Number two is not for the righteous, but for the wicked.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, I mean, this can go, this could take a while, and not that I've mastered or memorized all of the content, uh, but Enoch talks about a removal of wickedness, of the wicked, in the time of tribulation. So, like in the end, there is a uh, removal of wicked, and the righteous remain. Throughout the Psalms and probably some other places, I think, but it talks about how the righteous inherit the kingdom. First of
Mhm.
all, the kingdom comes when Jesus comes to earth. The kingdom arrives and it does not end, it
Mhm.
remains forever. And we as believers inherit the kingdom. Peace will remain on earth forever, and we are to be part of it, and we enjoy it, and you know, we inherit it. That's the narrative. That's God's narrative. That's what the Bible talks about, and that's what is still God's plan.
Mhm.
Um, and so the idea of a rapture is really not biblical and is basically made up and thrown into our face to distract us and get us off track.
Mhm. Agreed.
Yeah, and so uh, that was really the start of thinking outside the box when it comes to these kind of things. And although this person does not believe in the little season necessarily, he does believe a majority of revelation happened already. And he still believes not a rapture, but he still thinks that next would be the second coming and then the millennial reign. So that's his position.
Mhm.
Um, as I was researching this idea, then that's where I came across um, JT's video. Really was the first one I watched, one of his, talking about the little season, and it just kind of like when you know you get shown for the first time some of the verses that talk about it, and it just makes so much sense that there's a really strong case that Jesus did already return. Well, then that means that the millennial reign already happened, and so it changes everything. And so I still took some time to research it a little bit more. I actually reached out to JT, and he came on to my podcast and did a little video on it. And uh, yes, I mean, so that's only been a little over a year ago, and I've just been, you know, talking to people, looking into things myself, creating a few videos myself. I prefer to talk to other people, but
I've watched your videos. They're really good. I like them. I enjoy them. Yeah.
okay, but yeah, and so I'm a photographer by trade, I guess you could say. I don't do it as much anymore, but I'm always behind the camera. And so this is really a stretch and a big leap for me to be in front of the
Good.
camera.
There you go. And God's
So, but
stretching you.
yeah, totally. But it was really one part of the story that kind of jumped over was a couple of years ago, which kind of was pivotal. And it was perfect timing. This was before any little season stuff came up to me. Um, I, for whatever reason, like I just went through this personal journey. Um, Not that I was like super like searching for answers or anything like that, but I actually was able to set aside a period of time where, well, basically I spent about 2 hours a day in the secret place, just spending time quiet with the Lord
Mm,
for 2 hours a day for 5 months straight,
mm,
minus maybe 4 days out of the 5 months, but almost every single day.
that's awesome.
Um, and it was just that period of time, really. And it was just like, I don't know, so much happened during that time, but I think it prepared me for something. Well, for one thing, I mean, I just learned how to how to talk with God. I
Mm,
learned just what He thought of me, basically.
mhm,
Um, I just I learned so much in that time, but I learned how to pray for things. I
mhm.
learned how to pray warfaric prayers and
Man.
how how to shift atmospheres and things like that. That's one thing, but it really just softened my heart and changed my mind and things like that. So I don't know. I thought that was important to say just for anyone who might be listening. Having that time set aside is really important. It can really help just in general, but you never know what's coming up next because what came up next was really quite important. And so in this during this time was where I got the idea to start this podcast, and it was the last thing I really wanted to do because, like I said, I don't want to be in front of the camera. I'm not like really great at doing that kind of thing anyway, talking and whatever. And then also, there's like a million podcasts out there. Like that's the last thing the world needs, I feel. But I was just like, well, finally. I mean, it took probably a year till I actually did it, but finally I did. And I just started off talking with people I knew about their time in the secret place. That's how it all started. That was why it's
Mm,
called a seat. It's why it's called a seat for Jesus. Um, for those who don't know, I have two channels. One is just a seat for Jesus, and the other is ASFJ, which is a seat for Jesus. dash little season. So it has the word little season in it. So obviously two different categories or topics. Um, but the original Secret Jesus has a lot of testimonies from people who have gone through a similar thing, talk about their journey in the secret place and things like that. So it's really good to hear other people's testimonies, and it really will help encourage you in your time.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anyway, that was just kind of a quick overview. I watched a few videos. JT really opened the door with some of his videos, and I just started realizing, hey, this is this is probably the reality we're living in, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a whole lot more sense than anything else we've ever heard.
Mhm.
And we're deep in this little season. It was like
Yes.
we're this is kind of a big deal.
Kind of answers a
So
lot of stuff, doesn't it?
yeah, it
All
does.
the little questions like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? All these little clicks keep going in your head.
Well, and it's interesting because like the other background that I had, which is also a background that I have on my A Seed for Jesus channel, is um, talks a lot about the prehistory, like during the time of Noah and before Noah, the
Mhm.
fallen angels and the giants and the Nephilim. Um, the seed war, basically the seed of Satan and the seed of the woman.
Mhm.
Basically, we're in this cosmic battle since the beginning of our, you know, not necessarily the beginning of our history, but like early on. Um, this is why we're here now. This is the whole thing is because of what happened there.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so it again, it did put pieces together that I had been struggling with trying to figure out. um, and yeah, so the little season actually helped connect a little, connect some dots for me.
Hmm.
So that
Yeah.
was really
If you ever do like a prayer group with the warfare or teaching on it, I would absolutely love to be a part of that. Join it with you, and because I love to pray too. But sometimes I get scared to pray with myself when it's too powerful because I'm like, I don't want anybody showing up at my door. You know what I mean? But
well, I mean,
yeah, because I think that
they're
yeah,
gonna
that's where our answers are is in that deep prayer. And I mean, I think it was you that were saying you think that we got to push Satan to make his next move because he's just like getting too comfortable or something. Was that you saying something like that? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, so it's a concept I still need want to explore, but like um it seems really not obvious, but it could be. It's a possibility that um why would if the next thing on our timeline is we're getting to the end of Satan's little season.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing to happen would be that according to Revelation that he advances onto the camp of the saints
Mm-hmm.
and the city,
And the
the new
Holy
kingdom.
City. Mm-hmm.
And that's when God calls fire down from heaven and destroys his army, and then he takes Satan and throws him into the lake of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just thinking in my head, surely he must know that that's the next thing, that that's going to happen if he does that.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he do it?
Mm-hmm.
Especially especially now when it seems like he is in full control over this world. The amount of evil and corruption and just defilement upon the earth is probably 100 times more than we even see.
Mm-hmm.
And what we see is bad. But
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, he's sitting comfortable on his throne on the earth, and he doesn't really have to do anything. He can just sit there for as long as he needs to.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to cause him to move, to take that next step, is when he has no other choices left, when he has no other options, when his strongholds on the earth begin to weaken and fall. then he's going to have to rush the city.
Mhm.
And so, what causes those strongholds to fall? Well, that's us. That's our job.
Mhm.
We can do that.
Yeah.
And we don't, in, we as in Christians in general, don't realize that we have the power and authority to do it. And even if we do know it, do we do it? Are we going to do it? So
Exactly.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of what I think we should do. And yeah, I might do something as far as a prayer group or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I agree with you on that part. I think there's a lot of souls to still win before the end. Because I kind of believe that we're on a timeline, and there is that one day that God He already knows what day it is, whether, but He's still going to
Right.
have us involved in it. That's what's so hard to understand sometimes, because we know He's sovereign, but He still wants us to pray. It's like, why not to pray? You're just gonna do it. But for whatever reason that we don't understand, but when that day happens, we want to win as many over on this side as that we can. Kind of like the
Yeah.
rapture thing. I used to pray for people before the rapture would come, and it's kind of the same concept. There's still an end, and there's still a fire coming, and people don't believe it, and they just want to whatever. I'm just gonna go party, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, I mean, yeah. Do you have any other particular question?
Let me see. So is your wife on board with you then too? Does she believe?
She's not 100%. No.
Okay, okay. Now that's the
Um,
hard part too. Some people go, what?
yeah. Um, she will. She'll be. It's funny. Like she'll make jokes about it. Like
Mhm.
for my sake.
Yeah,
Jokes as in like, oh well, this must be because we're in the little season, right?
yeah,
That kind of thing, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. That's
Um,
cute. I love that.
yeah, and I think that she will be eventually.
Yeah.
Um, for her, like, and I totally get it. I said it earlier. The whole thing is so confusing, and she really just doesn't care that much.
Mm-hmm. She just like God be
Uh,
God, whatever He does, He's gonna do, kind of like thing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So for some
yeah.
people, that's all they need,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I I'm different. I like to know.
Me too. I know. I'm like pushing in. But then I know there's some things I don't need to know because it would freak me out too much. Just like you said, some of the evil that we don't know. Thank God we don't know it, because I don't know that I could handle
Yeah,
it. This is
yeah,
wow. Yeah. Amen. Amen. So yeah, but thank you so much for sharing that. That's a good testimony, especially the part about encouraging people to get in that prayer closet just alone with the Lord. That's awesome. That you 3 hours a day you did, 4 hours a day?
no, just two.
Oh, two. I thought you said four for some reason. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
still
and usually for me, it was early in the morning that was best. It was really quiet. Like I don't know if you get up early or ever got up super early, but like around 4:30 in the morning is so quiet. It's like everything is still,
mm-hmm.
and it's just perfect. And anyway, so yeah, I did that for 5 months, and then like one particular thing. Speaking of like warfare, this is just a testimony of one day that I experienced, and I thought it was like super powerful. So I'll share it. Um, it was last October, like over a year ago. Um, I don't know if I am like called to like uh, governmental prophetic prayer or whatever, but that's what it was. And I was praying hard. So I went to this room somewhere. It was quiet by myself, no one around. I intended to do this for like, I can't remember if it was 24 hours. I think I was going to do this, but
Oh,
um, but actually God had a different plan, which was good for me because I was like, man, this is going to be a long time.
made me hungry and tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it ended up being 6 hours, and at the end of the 6 hours, like I felt such peace, like it was over. But 6 hours of like worship and then just repentance on behalf on for myself and behalf of the nation, and
Mhm.
then just like warfare about doing things. And I was very specific, like this person or that person. And I don't want to get into too much detail now, but
Yeah.
um, just like commanding things to happen in the spirit,
Amen.
and and it was pretty awesome. There was one moment that I and I don't know if you or anyone listening will have a problem with this, but I'll just I'll just tell what happened. um, I was about to send angels on assignment, and so I brought them. I told them to come here because I have a mission for them, and I could feel the room get
Mm, mm.
like I was in a pretty large room, and I could feel it like like tight and like presence, all kinds of presence of beings just filled the room. I could like almost feel them.
That's awesome.
So it was pretty cool.
That is cool. You can almost hear their wings fluttering and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the power. Yeah, that's awesome. I know people
Yeah.
that have said the same thing, and they've actually seen them sometimes, and they're huge. They're huge angels. They're not little tiny cherubs, little chubby babies, right? They're powerful.
I've
Yeah.
never seen, I haven't seen one, but
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to. I think I'd freak out, but I know people that have seen them. I'm like, yeah, that would scare me, I think. But yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I would like to because I know what it is already. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be a little freaky at first because
Hmm.
I'm sure they're not like the pictures we see.
Hmm. Oh, yeah,
But
definitely.
but yeah, I think I would like to experience it.
I know we will someday for sure, right? On the
Yeah.
other side.
Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Do you have children too? Are they believers?
Yeah,
I mean, just
I
in
have two.
general.
Yeah, yeah. I have two daughters. They are 18 and 20.
Okay. So that's a
So,
good age. My daughter's going to be 40 next month.
oh
Like,
really?
dang, man, how did much time go by? Where it happened. Yeah. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate your time. And
Mhm.
yeah, keep it up. I look forward to more of your videos. I know you were doing some with, what's his name? Gosh, my brain.
Tyler,
Tyler. Are you guys still doing those? Do those? Is
we're
him a
trying to.
Okay.
Schedules haven't really aligned, but
Yeah, I know that's the
hopefully we
devil. I'm
will.
telling you, you got to keep rebuking that because those are good videos. You guys do a great job together. And
Yeah,
you say there's a lot of YouTube channels or this or that, but there's not a lot like this. Where we're
yeah.
talking about Little Season and trying to encourage people. They're more like, look at me, look what I did. This is all like trying to stay humble and trying to just build a fellowship. And build a
Mhm,
base where people can feel comfortable and you know what, this is what I feel, and share it. I try to encourage
mhm.
people, come online and share. No, I can't do it. I was never wanted to. No way. No way. But here we are, right? Yeah. So praise the Lord. I appreciate your time, and
Yeah,
let's talk soon. And I can't wait to see another video with you and JT. Yeah, there Chad saying I agree. Amen, Chad. Yeah. So well,
I'm gonna
thanks.
be I'm gonna be putting something out soon. With it's kind of I don't know if it's gonna be one long video or a series, but basically helping people who people like my wife who just aren't quite sure about it, but also even those who do believe it, like what does it mean? So in other words, what are the implications
Mm,
of the little season?
mm-hmm,
How does it change certain things?
mm-hmm,
And so, I mean, I have like 12 things, but then I have like maybe a couple of others that aren't directly related to, things like the rapture and the tribulation or the Antichrist or
mm-hmm.
the mark of the beast and the third temple and all these things. What does it mean in relation to the little season now? So I'm going to kind of talk about that. And, but then there's some other things like are we still the bride of Christ? Stuff like that.
I was just wondering that myself. That's so funny you
Oh,
said.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'll attempt to answer it. I haven't quite dived into that particular one because I'm doing the other ones first, but
Okay. Yeah, look forward to that. Are they going to be on the AF, the C for Jesus, the Little Season channel?
little season, yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I look forward to those. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, well, I will let you get back to your family, and thank you again so much. I really appreciate you and appreciate your
No problem.
time. And you're just such a nice, calm brother, and it's nice to see you and do your videos. It's awesome. So
All
you're
right.
very
Thank you.
positive, and it's very nice. So,
Awesome.
all right. Well,
All
you take care, and God bless you.
right. God bless. Have a good one.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.